we've got Mr. Arvind Singhal, someone who understands that sector very well, CMD at Technopac Advisors, joining in with a quick perspective on this big breaking story. Mr. Singhal, if you can hear me, we were chatting on the phone a short while ago. Now that it's officially been announced, help us understand the upside in this merger for this retail entity. What does the group really get?
So I'm personally very, very excited about this particular development today. I think more than just for the retail, I think the Indian textile sector, the Indian fashion sector needs many companies of the scale and size like the one which is being created today. And I think therefore it's a milestone as far as Indian fashion industry is concerned. I personally also feel there are many synergies between Madura Garments and ABRL, which I think will not only create a huge amount of value for the shareholders, but I think it will also put the company into a very, very remarkable position to grow much more quickly than it has done in the last 5 years.
Let's talk about some of these synergies. In fact, we did hear the management there talk about them. Synergy in terms of real estate, synergy in terms of sourcing. You understand the sector well. How easy is it going to be for the group to now tap these synergies, given the fact that they are in some ways diverse businesses as well, with different formats?
Yeah. See, there are diverse businesses, but let us not forget that, they are the largest now physical retailer in the country with more than 5 million square feet of retail space. They have a very, very strong portfolio of brands unmatched by any other entity in India between Pantaloons and Madura Garments. One of the synergies could actually be to leverage this particular footprint across India to a manner where more brands can be introduced much more quickly. That is one kind of a synergy which can give a quick upside on the revenue side. The other synergies can come on the sourcing side. I think let us not forget that Madura and Pantaloons are not manufacturers. There are brand owners and there are retailers. But if the combined entity's turnover, as I was just hearing, is about 5,290 crores or something of that number, the sourcing volume would be close to about 3,000 crores. That's a very, very strong sourcing capability to put together. You can derive much more efficiency from sourcing and therefore better margin again for the two businesses. These are just two examples of synergy, and of course marketing, branding, the clout on the media, so to say, in terms of utilizing the various go-to-market channels. These are other areas of synergies, of course.
How surprised are you that the group hasn't decided to bring in some of the other retail units as well? Whether it's Jayashree Textiles, whether it's more, especially with more, many felt that they'd probably bring that into this merged entity as well. Do you think that it was a smart move to keep them away from this merged entity, or do you think they should have got this into the fold to create a bigger retail behemoth?
See, let us be very clear about Jayashree Textiles. Jayashree Textiles is a very, very good textile manufacturer, but it is not a retailer. As far as More is concerned, I think the dynamics of the food and grocery retail business is very, very different to what they are of the fashion business. So if if the promoters had thought of bringing More to the same venture, more questions would have been asked in terms of what the possible synergies can be. I personally think it's a very wise decision to stay focused on the fashion sector, and fashion sector is one of the fastest growing sector in the country in any case. So I personally feel it's a right decision to just limit right now to what they have announced. Aditya Birla More has a different opportunity. There may be a merger at some point in time with another retailer in the same space, could make much more sense.
I know you don't want to talk more about valuations, but now that we've got the word officially from the company, it's confirmed what we'd earlier reported. 26 shares of Pantaloons Retail is what every shareholder of ABNL will get. We know, the combined turnover of this entity. How does this look to you from a valuation point of view?
See, valuation again is very subjective, but if one were to go by the EBITDA numbers, which are also flashed on the screens, and you're looking at an EBITDA number of more than 500 crores for the combined entity, I think our valuation between 12 and 15,000 crores of this venture is not so out of the range. It could be more than this, but I would speculate between 12 and 15,000 crores could be the value of this combined entity, and therefore a lot of value created for the shareholders.
One word on the e-commerce play as well. We did hear Mr. Birla make that point in passing that, that group will look at growth opportunities, and clearly e-commerce is one of them. But, given the way the dynamics of the retail market in itself is changing, do you think it's critical that even for this particular piece, despite the size and scale that it has, it will need to aggressively look at e-commerce play as well for it to remain relevant, say, 10 years from now?
I think e-commerce is something which is evolving at this time. It is not in a steady state. I am very, very confident that the team inside would certainly be aware about the opportunity, would certainly be working in terms of what is the best way to leverage. Omni-channel is something which most retailers across the world have successfully leveraged, and I think with 1900 stores, 500 million square feet of space across the country, I think they are very well positioned to take advantage of e-commerce opportunity. They don't need to be a pure play e-commerce player as of now. The market is still very, very small. But that certainly is one of the growth opportunities for them, and I'm sure they will take advantage of this as the months and years come.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow, and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/ETNow.